Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
All right. Hello. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's 4 o'clock, so y'all get to talk with y'all favorite host, Juss Quanni. You know, I just realized if you see the flyer, I got on the same outfit. I took that picture in years ago. But it's all good. You know what I mean? I'm happy to see y'all back. Happy to be here. Happy to talk about my week and the subjects I got on hand. And of course, you know, y'all are probably going to have a couple things to say about today's topic. But I hope they're productive and positive things to say, which I'm sure they will be after you hear what I got to say. But I mean, you know, I'll always start off my week by my show by talking about the week in general and how it went, what was going on, anything new, anything exciting. And in all honesty, this last week was just a very it was a testing week. Like everything about me got tested. My patience, my ability to lead, my ability to be a father, my ability to work. It all got tested in this past week in a way of it just caused my irritation levels to get a little too high for my liking. So of course, you know, Saturday I found a way to let out some steam to kind of get that going on, have a little more patience with myself. I realized that I don't give myself enough patience and credit, you know, like I hold myself to a standard. Well, like they say, you're your own biggest critic, and I criticize myself so much. But in a way of I want to grow. I want to be better. And this past week just made me realize, like, it doesn't matter what I may think or may feel. I'm human just like everybody else, you know. So I have setbacks and things that happen that kind of cause me to relapse. But as long as I don't stay there, then we good. You know, at the end of the day, once I can acknowledge that something is wrong or something needs to be fixed, I get that taken care of. But about my week, let me give you a few breakdowns about it, because I'm not saying that to say it was a bad week. I think it was a great thing that I got tested like that, just to see how I can handle it. I was shocked and surprised. Some things I definitely could have handled better than I actually did, but you live and you learn. So in the future, when I run across that again, I won't handle it the same way I did this time. Other than that, man, I did work a little bit more again this week. I didn't take both my off days on the weekend like I said I would. I went to work Sunday, try to get a few extra dollars, because I'm sure y'all all know it's back to school and these kids is expensive, and these back to school supplies need to be getting in, whether that's clothes, shoes, paper, backpacks, whatever the case may be. We got that done. You know, we a team over there. So the one thing I do love and appreciate is that we can always make sure these kids are taken care of, and they have what they have, they need what they need. And they got the right leadership and, you know, going on at home. We don't want to give them that halfway leadership in a way. We want to make sure we present in all sorts of the matter for the kids. So shout out to me and Diamond for that. Definitely will never take that away from us as far as being parents. But my kids have just recently, how do you say this? Now that they get allowance, I've never seen kids be so happy to clean up, first of all. I'm like, well, I'm glad y'all finally ready to clean up. So that's a great thing. But now that they get an allowance, man, they kind of have more of a routine on what they're going to do when they're going to do it. They even got Junior scrubbing the walls to get his little $2 a week, you know. It's so funny just to see the kids kind of see money and say, hey, I got to get to this money. I got to work. I got to do what I got to do. We found that they've been missing some clothing at home, but they go to grandma's during the week while me and mom are at work. And mom went over one day and actually went inside to grandma's and found out that the kids had some extra clothes over there, but the kids are telling mom, like, or the grandma told Diamond, yeah, those are the clothes they use when they go to work. When they're getting ready to go to work. So I'm glad that we lead by example to show them that, you know, you want to take care of your responsibilities. You want to go to work, take care of bills, do what you got to do. They don't really know the truth about working just yet, but oh man, they can have as much fun as they want to. But I tell you what, when they get about 16, 17, if they start working that early, they'll learn. They'll understand. It's not as much as you think it is, or it's not as great as you think it is. Also, today, I got some good news. Today, we had a service and I was able to minister the service, and it went great. It went amazing. I was happy to be able to take care of that for the family, to make sure they had it going on. long story short, last minute things, and they needed a pastor, and I stepped up and stepped to the plate to make sure we can get that taken care of. It was great. They enjoyed it. They loved it. I loved it. I was thankful that they allowed me to do such a thing for them. So that was pretty cool, pretty amazing to see, especially with the journey of me trying to be in that field a little bit more, to have that done. So that was nice there to kind of, get my feet wet with getting that taken care of. So I'm really appreciative of the position I'm in to be able to do that. That was amazing. That was amazing. But all in all, the rest of the week was kind of normal as it normally is, or as it is. Spend time with the kids on my day off. Went to work for the other days out the week. Got enough rest as I can. You know what I mean? Nothing more, nothing less. But I got as much rest as I could, and still managed to take care of all of my responsibilities without, falling out, I would say, without passing out. It seemed like it was going to be a tough week for me, and I think at that point I was just kind of overwhelmed and what do you call it? Overestimating what was really going on, in a way, for lack of a better word. However, this last week I have also had more than one conversation, whether it be at work or just with friends, more than one conversation about male suicides. And I say, it's kind of been, I touch a little bit on it every time I have a conversation, but I don't really dig deep into it. So I said, well, today's show is going to be tailored more towards that. And, just more about breaking the silence, understanding and trying to prevent, male suicides. I will say it now, man, fellas, some of the stuff y'all need to hear, and you may not want to, but you need to hear it because you need to know, you need to find a way to get through it. And isolating yourself and closing up, not expressing your needs, that ain't the way to do it. I know we were raised like that, but we are in different times, different strokes for different folks. So it'd be great for us to start working on that individually. I'm not telling you that it's going to be an overnight fix. I'm not telling you it's going to be easier for you after you do it the first time or work on it the first time. What I am telling you is the more you work at it, the more effort you put in, the easier it'll become, the easier it'll get for you. Rome wasn't built in a day, so neither should your mental health. Take your time to work on it. Treat it right. Do what you can to take care of yourself. You got to make sure you're all right, man. You got to make sure you're all right. So again, I want to thank you all for being here, whether you're listening live, catching the replay, or just happen to stumble upon it. Whatever the case may be, I appreciate all the love. Today, we're having a real honest and necessary conversation. We're talking about men's mental health with a focus on something that's far too common and far too under-discussed, which is male suicide. Why it happens, what leads up to it, and most importantly, what we can all do to prevent it. This matters deeply, and not just to me personally, but to society as a whole. Around the world, suicide is one of the leading causes of death among men. In many countries, men are 3 to 4 times more likely to die by suicide than women. And yet, we barely talk about it. We avoid it. We pretend it's not happening. But that silence we like to hold on to so much is costing lives. And this isn't just about statistics. It's about real people, fathers, sons, brothers, friends, all of the above. Maybe even you, maybe someone you know. So today, let's try to break that silence together, right? Let's try to get somewhere together where we don't have to worry about society making us feel like we are forced to be silent. Because if you really look at it now, I think society is a little more open and prone to us speaking up and expressing the issues we have. I think it's just more so on our end, finding a healthy way to do it, if you ask me. The reality of male suicide, so we'll start with the facts because the numbers are sobering. In many Western countries, men make up to 75 to 80% of all suicide deaths. So that's telling you that more than 3/4 or more of the deaths that happen by suicide are most likely going to be men, regardless of how you look at it. And the group at highest risk are not teenagers, not the elderly, but middle-aged men, especially those between the ages of 40 and 60. And like when I did a little research on that, like, man, I was shocked to learn that part because I thought it would more so be with adolescents and, I would say men aged from 18 to like 36 to 40, but that is not really the case. You learn something new every day, right? You learn something new every day. Men are also far more likely to use lethal methods, which means their attempt is often fatal. And we were talking about that at work. and they were talking about women and men versus suicides, and you know, we made that comment was made, and I'm like, you know, yeah, you know, 9 times out of 10 when a woman commits suicide is going to be something like overdosing with pills or something that will most likely be as painless as possible. As far as when it comes to men, they're a little more aggressive with it, a little more violent, like using guns, knives, things of that nature, hanging themselves to actually commit suicide. It's crazy, but that's really the statistics of it, to find out that men actually will find a more violent way to commit suicide. And I'm just like, man, I mean, you don't want it to happen at all. But if it does, I mean, when it does, that's the last thing you want to see, is something so brutal and violent, right? Kind of eats you up a bit. I did tell them, like, when we working at the funeral home, there's only a couple of cases that'll probably touch a nerve. I'm not saying I can't deal with them or handle them, but it just makes me go home and think a little bit more. And those are anytime it's a suicide and or a child involved. You know, I kind of have to think about that. It takes a day or two for me to kind of accept it and process it, you know. But here's the kicker. Men are less likely to seek help. But I don't think that's the kicker at all. I think we all knew that. I think we all know that how tough it is for a man to speak up and say, hey, I need help. I need somebody to guide me through this. I need direction. I need the right path. I'm not okay. I think we know that men are prone to not saying any of that, for the most part. Many men struggle silently with depression, anxiety, trauma, burnout, and addiction, but it often goes undiagnosed or untreated. Why? Because we built a culture where pain is seen as a weakness. It's wild work. Where asking for help somehow makes you less of a man. It's wild work. But that silence, it can turn deadly. It can really turn deadly. So why does it happen? Well, why are so many men dying by suicide? Let's break it down. First, societal pressure. From a young age, many boys are taught, many of us, we're taught that our value is tied to what we can do, how much we can earn, how much we can endure, how much we can provide. Failure, whether it's job loss, financial struggles, or divorce, it can feel like a personal identity crisis, right? I mean, I'm sure most men will agree with me on that. Then there's the pressure to be strong, right? Y'all know that when we tell people stuff like, man up, don't cry, be a man, you ain't supposed to cry, you know. We say stuff like that and they may sound harmless. They may sound very harmless because you're just trying to get somebody a little bit of tough skin. But it also, you know, it also teaches men to suppress their emotion, to bottle it all up and just say, oh, you mean I feel some type of way? Let me go and stuff that in this bottle and put that to the side. That's going on the rack next to the other 1,000 bottles I got. That's what it teaches us to do. It's not healthy at all. It's not healthy at all. It's sad, but only we can change that. Only we can work on it. Only we can make it better within ourselves. Of course, we have to start somewhere, do something. But the second thing with that, outside of, you know, the pressure to be strong, is isolation. How many of y'all have really sat there and got to the point where everything was being so difficult for you, life was throwing you all kind of lemons, and you didn't know how to make lemonade, you didn't know how to peel the lemon, squeeze it, nothing, you didn't know what to do. So instead you just went into your little corner and said, forget the lemons, forget life, I'm gonna just be alone here and handle it best as I can in this little bubble. Don't worry, I've been there. A lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, I've been there. I'm not telling you because I feel like it's just talk. I'm telling you because I've been through it myself. Sometimes I still go through some of these things myself. But I do my best to work on it and get through it, because you got to go through it to get through it. You know what I mean? Many men, as they get older, start to lose close friendships. Like we all know, it's like high school. You think you're going to be friends with them for years, and then you turn 22 and realize you only know about 10 people from high school now. They don't feel that they have a safe space to talk, and they stop reaching out. Some people have tried. Some men, I'll give y'all credit. I know y'all try to reach out to people. I know y'all try to reach out to individuals y'all think y'all can trust and put your faith in. But if you try to reach out to those individuals and it does not work, go get some therapy. Go to therapy. There are a lot of programs that will offer you free therapy if you just do the research. If you need help finding those resources, here I am. Please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to put you in the right place or in the right position to do so. But reach out. Find somebody to talk to. Don't just give up after the first person denied you access to do that. Find a safer and better way to do it. It's like that old saying, you fall down 7 times, stand up 8. You know, simple as that. And loneliness. Loneliness is a huge factor in it. I think that's a double-edged sword when it comes to loneliness. I feel like sometimes you may have to separate yourself to figure out what's going on. But with doing so, I think you should always have an ear or two around to where you can vent or talk to somebody with that. Even if you feel like you don't want to talk to nobody at all, you should have that one person you're like, hey, look, just real quick, I kind of need to vent about this. I need to talk about this. I need to express myself. You think you got a minute to hear me out or listen to me? Whatever the case may be, just try. Put in the effort. The worst thing somebody can tell us is no. And I know to a man that hurts our ego and pride to hear those words, but sometimes you got to ask to find out what is really going on. You got to have that conversation. Some of us don't want to have it. You know why? Because of everything going on in life, which is another reason. Life events, things like a divorce, legal trouble, unemployment, or serious health issues. They can hit men especially hard, really hard, because often these events strip away the very thing society tells men they need to be worthy. You know what I mean? So when you are coming to a fact and you're getting divorced, it tells you that you don't have a wife. So for you to be a man, why you ain't got no wife? For you to be a man, why you ain't got no job? For you to be a man, why you in trouble with the law? For society to be like that, or we assume it's like that still, and it creates these issues for us. It creates these things where we think the life events are something that we need to just kind of keep to ourselves. I'm telling you, man, as a person who used to be there, I used to be so lost in what to do, what move to make, where to go. So lost when it comes to my mental health. I just lived every day that I could and went on with each day until one day I finally got fed up and just said, F it. I'm going to do what I need to do to take care of myself. I went up and started looking at things like therapy and counseling. I went ahead and started looking at better dieting, better exercising, better health for my mental and my body, my physical. I put the work in to get out of that situation, It wasn't easy. It was probably one of the hardest things I ever had to do because I had to pick myself up and say, you can do this if you just get out of your head. You know how difficult that was to make myself get out of my own head? That was not the easiest conversation I could have with myself, man. It's like in the morning I can have an easy conversation on what I want for breakfast, but that conversation, man, it took a minute for me to get through it and understand what I was trying to say to myself. But I'm glad I did. Lastly, this is the one where some of y'all may feel away, but I'm just being honest. It happens. It is substance abuse or substance use. A lot of men turn to alcohol or drugs to cope. It dulls the pain temporarily, but it also increases impulsivity, depression, and access to lethal means. It's a dangerous mix. Example, when I lost my brother, it'll be 13 years next week. When I lost my brother, I didn't go into a healthy way of dealing with that. When I lost my brother, I went into working so much. I went into partying and drinking. I did everything but heal, everything but face it, everything but express myself and how I felt about it. And I thought that was the way to go because for about 7 years, I was golden. I was like, hey, man, I'm finally through it. Like, I can finally deal and accept my brother's passing. And that was a lie. I covered up how I felt about his passing for 7 years. I isolated myself for 7 years, but ultimately what happened was one day it was so random. I just heard a song we used to love. And that one little thing just set me completely back with everything. I just kind of broke down. I was like coming to the realization that my brother's really gone. He ain't coming back. He's not here no more. He left me. Like I had to go through so many emotions to say when that happened. And I wish that instead of me working so much, going out to party and drink and all of that stuff, I wish that I would have I would have put myself in a position to be surrounded by people that love and support me. Because then it would have made it easier for me to go through that process and express myself and deal with the emotions and deal with the loss of my brother in a healthy way. I would have had that opportunity had I put the right things first and said, hey, I need help. But at the time, I was 20 years old, man. I had just lost my older brother. And all I could think about was, I don't want to think about this. I don't want to deal with this. I went to work and I went and partied. That's all I did. Work, party. Out from partying straight to work just to keep my mind busy. But as I'm telling y'all now, it just prolonged the process. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. If I had to go back and start that process again, I would do it completely different, because then I would know what I need to do to truly, and I'm not saying I healed all the way, but to truly start the healing process and getting through that, to accept it. That's what I had to do. To finally accept it, I had to go through that. And I would have started that process a lot sooner to get that acceptance if it was up to me. All that ignoring it and avoiding it later on down the road is going to come back and bite you in the ass when you least expect it. Now we will talk. I know some of y'all are afraid to talk. Y'all don't want to talk. But let's talk about the silence, because it's one of the biggest barriers, probably the biggest barrier. I don't want to say one of the biggest. I think that is the biggest barrier about not wanting to talk. Why don't men open up? A lot of it is learned behavior. Boys are often told, again, over time, they always say, stop crying, don't be soft, and be tough. So over time, those messages become internalized. And by adulthood, many men don't even know how to talk about what they're feeling. Not because they don't want to, but because no one has ever taught them how. That leads to a lack of emotional vocabulary. Some men say things like, I'm tired, or stressed, when they're really experiencing depression, grief, or hopelessness. Just a quick thing with that. Over time, those messages become internalized. So by adulthood, many men don't even know how to talk about what they're feeling. So when I was younger, probably like 18, 19, somewhere around that time, I had a girl I was dating at the time. She was like, you don't open up to me. Like, you don't talk to me. But I'm like, I do open up to you. I talk to you all the time. But I wasn't opening up. I was just talking. Like, she didn't know too much about me, my life, my past. Like, it was just more so of, she knew who I was at that current date, things I liked, things I wanted to do, things I like to do, and that sort of nature. But she didn't really know too much, because she said I was not opening up or talking to her. And in my mind, I was like wholeheartedly confused, because I'm like, how am I not opening up to you? I'm talking. Now as an adult, and I look back at what she was telling me, she was trying to understand me on a different level, on a better level, so that we could, not have so many issues. So I appreciate her for that, because I can relate to that story now and say, dang, she was right. I just wasn't trying to hear it, because I was uneducated about what it means to really open up and express and talk about yourself. So when they say this, that at a young age we're being told, stop crying, don't be tough, or don't be soft, be tough, I can relate to that, because growing up I was told that. So I felt like it didn't matter about expressing that. Oh, well, I feel like that because of this. Hey, I don't like that because it makes me feel like this. And when I feel like this, I kind of want to do this. I didn't have that vocabulary at the time, because nobody was around to teach it to me. The only vocabulary I knew was shut up and be tough. Don't cry. What you doing, men? No, boys don't cry. Stand up. What you doing? So I just wanted to point on that, like that lack of emotional vocabulary is a serious thing. It is so serious. It is so serious. We may think it's something, but it's really something completely different, And then finally, there's shame. We all know what shame is. A fear of being judged, a fear of being seen as weak, a fear of being a burden. That one right there is the one, though, because I know as every man, we feel that, a fear of being a burden, like, oh, that just feels some type of way on your skin, doesn't it? But instead of reaching out, many men just shut down. We like a computer. It gets too much, we're going to just go power down on you. I ain't got nothing to say. But let me say this clearly. It's not that men don't feel. It's that they often don't feel safe enough to share. That's what it comes down to. I'm not saying that that's anybody's fault in particular or specifically. What I'm saying is the fact that a lot of men don't feel like they have a safe enough space to share or express themselves. We need to find a way to create that space as a society, to create that space to make it normalized. Because right now you'll ask 100 men and only maybe 3 of them will tell you that it's okay to talk about how they feel. That's horrible. I want the reverse of that. I want 97 to tell us and 3 to say something different. So that's why I come out and I talk every week, because it's serious. Mental health is a very serious thing, especially in the community of men. Like, I don't know how much I can say it, but I'll continue to every week, because I just know that's something we can progress on. Yeah, it may be slow and steady now, but I think the more we practice it, the more we show, the more we attempt the more effort we put in, the more it can be normalized, and the more men can see that you can be better, you can get better, you can express yourself in a healthy way, you can find people that love and support you on whatever you choose to do, you can find people that will love and support you and choose to help you throughout the process of going to therapy or counseling, whatever the case may be. But I'm trying to tell y'all is there is so much help out there. You'd have to be blind at this point to not see it. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in any disrespectful way. I mean that to say that the help is there. If you look and check for the resources, you can find what you're looking for, what you need. We are all in this day and age. We have smartphones and technology. You have more than one way to find the resource you need. It's all about wanting to find it, wanting to get it. And if you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do. Hey, look, I'm offering my help right here. I'm offering it at the low cost of free $99. Free $99. Just reach out to me, and I swear I will put in as much effort as I can to get you the help you're looking for, the resources you need. We'll do it together. How about that? You know, even if you want to go to a men's counseling group, but you don't want to go by yourself the first time, call me. I'll go down there with you. We'll make it work together. It's nothing but support for all of y'all that want to get better. It's nothing but support. Whatever I can do, I will do within reason. If it's within my power to do so, you got it. You know. You got it for sure. How do we really prevent male suicide? I don't know if we can fully prevent it, because suicides are going to happen. But I think these are steps we can take to kind of lower the amount and the levels of what we see. How do we change it? How do we help prevent it? First, we need to build a culture of openness. Right? So allow people to be safe. Allow them to feel vulnerable in your space so they can be able to do that. Start talking about mental health early and often, as much as you can. In schools, at work, at home, among friends. Create safe, judgment-free spaces where it's okay to say, I'm not okay. You need to allow that space for people to say, hey, you know what? I'm not okay. Not like I thought I was anyway. I'm not as close to where I would want to be. You want to be able to make sure that they got that in schools, at work, at home, among friends. Like right now, I am teaching my son, and it's a very sensitive topic or subject when you have a boy or a young man that you're raising. Because right now I have to find that barrier that's like letting my kids understand that it's okay. It's okay if you are sad. It's okay if you're not okay. It's okay if you feel a type of way. It's all right. Like right now, I am teaching my son. I've been showing him and teaching him, and now he understands it in a way. But when he gets a little emotional or frustrated, he wants to cry, I'm like, all right, go ahead and cry, but just make sure you stand up. Make sure you cry, stand up, and let's talk about why you're crying. Let's talk about what it is that's happening, why you feeling that way. Let's talk about it. Am I successful with that every single time right now? Not at all. Not at all. But practice makes perfect. So eventually over time, by the time he becomes a teenager, adolescent, a young adult, a young man, a man, he will have those proper tools and resources that he needed to actually get that done, to be able to say, hey, you know what, Dad? I need to talk to you about something. I feel some type of way about this, and I need some advice. Do you think you can help me out with that? Do you think you can give me some advice on this? So I don't want him to feel like he ain't got that opportunity. I never want him to feel like that, neither one of my boys. So I do try to get them through it now at an early age. I try to show them that it's okay to talk and let it be known that you feel some type of way. But let's properly explain what's going on. Let's find out what the root cause is so we can fix the issue, instead of just saying, grow up, be tough, you a man. I don't want to repeat those words to my boys. I don't think they need to hear that. Second, we need to encourage help seeking. Like, I'm going to tell y'all all the time, go find help. Let me help you find help. Tell your sister to help you find help. Your mom, it don't matter, anybody. Find some help. Look for it. You cannot say you want to change and you want help and you want to be better, but you don't put in the work or effort to do so. At that point, you are a hypocrite. You are contradicting yourself. Hey, yeah, man, I want help. I want help all day long, but sitting on the couch like this watching TV. That's it. Just laying back. That's it. Kicking it. What do you say? Bick and back being boo. I forgot how that song. Something like that. But therapy isn't weakness. It's actually strength. To be able to go to therapy and be able to express and explain and find out what's causing what, why is it that way, where it's coming from, what kind of trauma you've been through. That's a great feat to have, to be so strong to go in and say, hey, I need to work on this. I need to get this taken care of. Support groups. counseling, even just opening up to a friend, these can be life-saving. You never really, I'm telling y'all, like, I am so happy I answered the phone for my friends or acquaintances, because just hearing them say at the end, like, I'm so glad we had this conversation, because I don't know what I would have done if you didn't answer the phone. That makes me feel great to know that they know they can come to me and confide in me wholeheartedly and feel safe and do so. I'm glad to be that safe space for people. Offline, I talk to so many people about their mental health. I'll sit on the phone with you for hours, because I'd rather sit on the phone with you listening to you day in and day out than to have to go to your service and give a eulogy. I'm just being honest. I would much rather find a way to help you through it than to find a way to help put you in the ground or in an urn. I would not want to see nobody go through that. I want you to live your best and full life, man. Best and full life. I'm just, coming from me personally. There are incredible resources out there made specifically for men. I'm telling you, Men Therapy Real Talk with Humor and Heart, or Man Therapy Real Talk with Humor and Heart. Heads Up Guys, tools, stories, and strategies tailored for men. And Movember, not just mustaches, but powerful work in mental health. That was just 3 different resources I gave y'all right there. Right there. I'm going to say it again because I want y'all to hear it. Man Therapy, Real Talk with Humor and Heart. Heads Up Guys, tools, stories, and strategies tailored for men. Movember, not just mustaches, but powerful work in mental health. 3 different ones. Hey, call me if you need those again, or if you need the way to find them. I'll Google them for you and send you the information personally. I'll go to those websites and send you the information personally. I'm just saying. 3rd, check on your people. Do you know how many times I've been thanked just because I called and just said, "Hey man, how you doing? Everything all right?" I wasn't doing this. I wasn't ducking and dodging my friends when they needed me. I was there when they needed me. I was around. I'm there. I'll call you. Sometimes, and I've told some friends, I said, "Hey, I don't really know why, but something is just telling me to check on you. Something just telling me to call you. Everything all right? You good? You all right? You need to talk about something?" And I'll tell you right now, 8 times out of 10, when I do that, it's something they need to talk about. I feel great that I have that intuition to say, man, I need to call this person and check up on them. And I ain't talked to this person in a while. Let me call them and see how they doing. Because every time I've done that, it's turned out into something productive and positive. I'd be happy to hear my friends say that they appreciate the phone call because they needed it. That tells me that they could have been loading up a gun for all I know. And my phone call was the call that made them put the gun down. They could have been tying a rope to hang themselves, and my phone call was what made them put the rope down. Whatever the case may be, I'm just happy that that one small conversation made them feel like, you know what, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. It may not be all right now, but it's going to be all right. I'm just glad to be able to have that presence for anybody that's around. And if you think you're not a friend of mine and you want that anyway, call me. We can become friends. You want to get some coffee first? You want to go out to eat first? We can do that. Again, I would much rather you come to me to have those conversations than to sit there and me hearing about the fact that we got to get a eulogy ready for you. It don't sit well with me, knowing that there was something I could have done to at least say to you to try to get you to change your mind. So I'll try to do that. That's what I consider my specialty. You know what I mean? Fellas, I'm here for you. I'm here for you whatever way I can be, within reason, to help you get through these problems and situations, to help you get through grief, to get through stress, depression, anxiety, whatever it may be when you're feeling down. Hey, call me, man. Call me. I'm telling you got more than one way. Instagram let you call. Facebook let you call. You may have my number. If you got my website, my business line is on there. Call that one. It don't matter. I'm going to pick up. You know what I mean? I'm like, God, call me when you need me. I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer. Don't wait for someone to come to you every single time. Like, yes, you may have those friends that do come to you, but if you got a friend, for example, I got friends that I go to, but I know every once in a while they're going to call me. Hey man, listen, I don't know. Are you busy right now? Hey, you doing something right now? You got a few minutes? You got like 30 minutes to talk? Because they need to get that off their chest. So I ain't got to reach out all the time because they know, hey, you know what? I'm going to call Quanni. He ain't gonna judge me. He ain't gonna be biased. He just gonna listen to me. He gonna try to give me some help if I can. And then we're gonna go about our day and he'll check back in with me a few days to make sure I'm all right and check in every week. You know what I mean? Just to make sure we getting where we need to get. I don't mind that. If I gotta do a weekly, daily check-in with you, so be it. Whatever helps you get through whatever you're going through. Just reach out. Please reach out. Ask questions that go deeper than how are you? How about we try questions like, are you feeling overwhelmed? Have you been feeling down lately? Have you had any thoughts of hurting yourself? Ask directly. Don't sugarcoat it. Ask directly. Ask compassionately and be ready to listen. And when I say listen, be ready to listen with the intent to understand, not the intent to reply or respond. Don't just look for a word to just go off and respond to. Let them fully invest that conversation into you and speak to you, and then you can go ahead and say what you got to say. Because if you cut them off, you could be cutting them off for any future endeavors of them coming to you trying to talk. Encourage healthy outlets, for like tools and strategies. Encourage healthy outlets, fitness, hobbies, journaling, art, music, whatever it may be that may be your outlet for something healthy and productive. Teach coping skills and emotional language. You know what I mean? That's a big one to help with, because some people don't even know that those even exist, let alone what they are. And then when someone is in a crisis, reduce access to lethal means. So whether that's firearms, medications, or other tools, these simple steps can and do save lives. So I've shared this story a time or two before. When I was going through the roughness and I had my little suicide moment that I was going through. But thankfully my son, Terrence, I love him so much, man. He saved me from that one. Thankfully he saved me from it. And I called my mom and I told her the next day about everything. Do you know my mom used to check up on me like every day, if not every day? Maybe she would skip one day out the week, but she would check up on me every day. And the every time after she check up on me, the last question she say to me is, "Where's your gun? Where's your gun?" So one day I realized that made her feel a way, knowing that I have a gun, and I felt how I felt. So I went, at the time, until I can get my mental health better, I went and I sold the gun. And I told her I sold it, so that way she'd have more comfort and peace in knowing that I'm doing what I have to do to work on myself. But it was nice to be able to know that I have somebody to reach out to say, they know what lethal resources I have, but they're like, "Hey, where is it? What's going on? How you feeling today? What's going on? What's the issue? Is there any problems? You want to talk? You want to vent?" So I appreciate that. I appreciate that from people that support and love me to be there for me in that time of need. Because whether y'all know it or not, if you was just a minute or an hour, I appreciate you for helping me through it and getting me through it. What you can do today to kind of negate these steps and help out our fellow fellows that are feeling overwhelmed, feeling anxious, don't know what to do or where to turn, where to go. First, lead by example. That's what I try to do every week. I try to lead by example. I can't tell y'all to work on y'all mental health if I don't do it myself. That's very hypocritical. I can't do that at all. If you're struggling, talk about it. If you're not, talk about the fact that you could. Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna say it again. That's gonna give me a little chills. If you're struggling, talk about it. If you're not, talk about the fact that you could. Some of y'all may not want to. Y'all don't like talking about your problems, but I'm telling you, do it. Do it. Just see how it feels. Tell me how it feels after that first time of you talking about how you feel and everything of that nature. Tell me exactly what you get from that, okay? Second, check in with someone this week. A friend, a brother, coworker, past relationship that didn't end in a toxic or bad way. Y'all just agreed to go separate ways. It don't matter. Talk to somebody. Reach out and hug somebody. Not just surface level, just really ask. Kind of get the inside and details of what's going on with them. Third, I'd say share resources. Post them, text them, bring them into your workplace or family conversations. Because sometimes it doesn't take a therapist to save a life. I'm telling you, I'm not a licensed therapist, and I've been told I've saved one before, and I'm happy about that. You don't got to be a therapist to save a life. You could be a baby and you'll save a life. It's like my son did with me. He saved my life. Because sometimes it just takes someone who cares enough to ask, "How are you really doing?" And then stay long enough to listen. I had one person, this is when I knew that, this person was on a different kind of level when it comes to conversations and speaking or, being around people. The statement was, "You are so funny. You are so hilarious. You just make me laugh every time I come around you. No matter what it is, you are always so funny and your personality is so great." I would love to know what pain caused that. And I was like, I'll be damned. Because she was right. It was a lot of pain. I tell everybody, till this day, I'm funny because I'm like Kevin Hart, laughing at my pain. Like, I'm really going to make jokes about it so I can get through it. Earlier in life, it wasn't the easiest thing to do because I made jokes without really following up with actual help, actual things to get through it and get better, actual effort. I felt like the joke was enough and it wasn't. So I say that because when I got asked that question, when she said that, I was not expecting that to come at the end. I would love to know what pain caused that for you. And it just made me realize, dang, some people really can touch you or reach you in a different way altogether. I was very, very touched by that. So I was excited to have that person say that to me. It was a sign of hope to say they do exist. People that really care do exist. And you just have to be willing and open to allow them to come in and help. You have to be open and allow it. If you don't want to allow it, you need to start from square one again and get back on that horse and try again. Keep putting one foot in front of the other until you get to that point where you can allow somebody to come in your space and make you feel safe enough to do what you got to do. Before we wrap up, because I do see the time here, I'm coming a little short on the time. Let me leave you with this. Male suicide is real, but it's also preventable. Men face unique emotional challenges, but we can't keep pretending that silence is strength. Silence is nowhere near strong. It's time to rewrite what it means to be a man, because real strength, it's in vulnerability, it's in reaching out, it's in support we get from everyone around us. So please, 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 just take the time out of any situation you get and try to do better and be better. Open up, reach out to somebody. Let them reach out to you. They got therapy on your phone now. You go to an office, you can do group counseling, whatever the case may be. But please, 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 just try to find the right support, the right help when going through things like that so it can be prevented. That's all I'm saying. I'll come back on here every week for every Wednesday now. Remember, we back on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. I'll come back here every week to deliver another message to get better at that. I don't mind it, and it doesn't bother me to do it because I feel like that's something that needs to be talked about and become normalized in today's society. People are speaking up more about it. You do see the conversation more, but to normalize it in general is the goal. To prevent it as much as we can is the goal. Nobody wants to see anybody commit suicide. So I guess the goal is to minimize it as much as possible in the healthiest way, in the most supportive way we can. So if you can do it, reach out and give a hand to somebody. Call up to somebody and tell them and see if they're doing all right. You never know if you're going to be the one to save their life. But I just ask any and everybody that's watching today to go ahead and reach out. Find a man in your life, somebody, a friend, family, lover, it doesn't matter. And just call them and say, hey, how you doing today? Do you need to talk about anything? And let me know what happens. I appreciate y'all again for coming out to listen to me on this wonderful Wednesday on the hottest radio station on the planet, Hot 702.5 FM. I will catch y'all again next Wednesday here at 4 p.m. I'll see y'all next week. Peace, love, and hair grease.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on Hot 702.5FM.com.